Okay, we live. Okay. This is awkward occurrence for awkward entertainment. Now we're getting one report so far. One report so far claiming Officer Aaron Dean, and I guess the police department, but Officer Aaron Dean, who earlier the police chief of Dallas, Fort Worth, said Aaron Dean was not cooperating or giving statements. Really, he wasn't cooperating. But they're saying she pointed Atatiana Jefferson pointed her gun first through the window at Aaron Dean, and that's why he shot so fast. So we're going to look at a few videos. One video about that from a report from one guy, and we're going to see if we can verify that report. But this sounds like something that in the script they will say that she pointed the gun to justify shooting her. Even so, that's not much justification. I mean, this whole story is weird, just like Amber Gaga, from beginning to end. So let's get right into the video. Okay, I'm gonna run over to, let's see. Let me get it stopped twisting and turning. Okay.
We're on. The front door was open.
This is a report by Dirk Jetson. So I gotta see where he got his sources from. Now in the video, we didn't see Atatiana point a gun. I mean, everything was so quick. You couldn't see her pointing no gun. I mean, we couldn't see her through the window on camera. How could she point a gun if she couldn't see them? Pretty sure she could see them, but on a camera, we couldn't see nobody pointing no gun. Now on a camera, I can barely make out anybody because the video is so niffy. So let's play the video.
Breaking news in the story of Atatiana Jefferson and Aaron Dean, the Fort Worth police officer who shot a woman inside her house. Breaking news, according to police reports and the arrest warrant just released. The police are claiming that Atatiana pulled a firearm out of her purse and pointed it out the window, which is while the police officer discharged his firearm.
Let's listen to that again. They're saying she pulled a weapon out her purse.
A firearm out of her reports and the arrest warrant just released. The police are claiming that Atatiana pulled a firearm out of her purse and pointed it out the window, which is while the police officer discharged his firearm before finishing his command. This is Dirk Jensen. You're watching the Dirk Jensen Show. Now listen. The police are now saying that Atatiana pulled her firearm out, which is why the police officer, Aaron Dean, fired a shot before.
Now, if they're saying, here's how it goes. She hears creeping around her house. She gets her purse, where she keeps her gun in her purse. She carries the purse itself. The purse itself, she carries around the house looking to see what's going on. She sees somebody in the window. With the purse in her hand, she pulls the gun out, the purse. And before she can get the gun pointed, he shot. If they're saying she pulled it out her purse, she had to take the time to reach in the purse and point it. So when they first saw her in the window, it would have took more than 1 second for her to reach in the purse, maybe cock the gun and point the gun.
finishing commands. Now, let me point out, the police were called out there for a welfare check.
Also, if you go back to earlier details, earlier videos, even though the news brings up she had a gun, the news never says where the gun was. That the picture of the gun don't even look like the gun was on the floor or in her hand. They didn't show no picture of the gun in her hand. Cause if she got shot pointing the gun would be in her hand next to her body, or would have fell out her hand next to her body. I mean, there's no pictures out there of a gun next to her body. There's no pictures. There's just nothing. Only body cam footage I've seen is them going around the house and him shooting. I mean, I haven't seen no footage of them going inside the house, checking on her body, trying to do CPR, and finding a gun. Unless they're gonna bring that out in the coming days. And again, there are more protests planned for this week, as they said a couple days ago or a day ago. So there's going to be more and more information as this goes. From afternoon to night. Well, they released this in the afternoon, so I guess mostly in the afternoon this whole week. That's when information going to drop around the afternoon time. Afternoon and night. So we might hear more information from the media, the mainstream media, later tonight at 8 or 9 or something like that. But again, she had to reach in the purse, cock it, or just reach in the purse and point it. So while he's talking, there's no way she could have pointed the gun if she had it in her purse.
The lights were on. The front door was open. At no point did the police officers identify that they were police officers. They went around behind the house shining flashlights. She heard a noise and went to investigate out the window, which is why she pulled out her firearm. Now, essentially what the police are saying is that a citizen who hears a noise at night doesn't have the right to go investigate it for themselves with a firearm on their own property, which is, of course, untrue. A firearm in a person's noise at night doesn't have the right to go investigate it.
No, if you hear a noise, okay. If you hear a noise at night around your house, I don't care who you are. You're gonna go investigate. I'm gonna go investigate, and I'm gonna bring my gun. So I don't understand. Even though he said that is untrue, It's your property. You pay taxes. You pay the bills, duh. I hear motherfuckers creeping around my place thinking they're about to break in or something. I'm going to investigate and I'm taking my gun. That's just plain and simple. So I hope that's not something they're trying to use. But that would be dumb. And don't no citizens agree with that.
For themselves with a firearm on their own property, which is, of course, untrue. A firearm in a person's home is not considered a concealed firearm. So she can have it in her purse. That's not considered a concealed firearm. It has to be outside in public. Now listen, for this to be on the police's side.
And to all the black people that's hating on, throwing that race hate and racism at white people, saying white people not standing up for blacks or something along that line. I mean, here goes a so-called white guy, because again, I don't follow color too much, who's standing with what he sees. And what he saw was an officer not announcing himself, going around back and shooting an innocent woman. So to all those black people who want to just talk down to whites and point finger at whites and don't know who the real enemy is, because sometimes you could be your own worst enemy, especially if you don't have the right mindset or have a corrupt mindset, or have a racist mindset. But let's continue in this video.
They would have had to have announced in some way that they're the police. I still strongly believe that their failure to announce themselves as police under any circumstance, whether or not there is a burglar there or not, the police are required to identify themselves as police. Even non-uniformed police identify themselves as police if they're going to make an arrest. Now, during an investigation, they may not necessarily have to identify themselves as a police officer, but this was a uniformed police officer on her property conducting a welfare check with a drawn firearm. That means this police officer reasonably needs to announce that they're a police officer. And even though they're trying to get a draw.
He's correct. That's in any state. Announce yourself.
On a suspect or something, understand people are saying, well, why didn't they knock on the front door? This is a welfare check. This wasn't a burglary call. You see the difference? If this was a burglary call and they said, well, we need...
Because in a burglary call, they go around the house and everything else.
You to go out there. There's been a report of a burglary in progress or something like that. Then the drawing of firearms and the going around back, would make sense. Now, maybe that's something they do all the time, but since this was expressly a welfare check, that means there is no reasonable suspicion or probable cause, because at no point did anyone suggest that there was a break-in, and lights on and a door being open is not probable cause or reasonable suspicion of a crime, even in the early hours of the morning. For there to be a reasonable suspicion of a crime, there has to be some indication that there's a burglary. Now, these police officers went there, and whether or not this is a burglary call or a welfare check, they still need to identify themselves as police officers, whether they're in marked patrol cars or in uniform or not, especially since they're...
Okay, we're not going to watch this whole 13 minutes because there's a video or two I want to check out, another video too. So, go check them out. Dirk Jensen. And Willie D live. Victim's nephew. Okay, we're going over the real Willie D right quick.
What if I told you that I run an online bridge business? And what if I told you that concept of a bridge is the best...
Cause this is 8 minutes. We'll try to watch as much as we can to get the information needed. First, let's start off with what's being said in this title. Victim's nephew says she pointed a gun at window after hearing noises, which is confusing in itself. Like, when she went straight to the window after hearing noises. Why doesn't it say Fort Worth police? Why doesn't it say she pointed gun at window? Or I saw she point a gun at the window when the police was at the window. I guess I get what they're saying. Nephew said she pointed a gun at window after hearing noises. Let's read the description. So we might look up this Ed Curtis. So somebody obtained the arrest warrant. His aunt, Atatiana Jefferson, heard noises coming from outside. So I hear somebody creeping around my house. And she took her handgun from the purse. Okay. So from the last report we just saw, they make it seem like she was carrying a purse around and reached in the purse. So she took the handgun from the purse. So she wasn't carrying around the purse. Then they skipped. The boy said she raised her handgun and pointed it to the window. Now, I know this is script. Some of y'all out there know this is script. Rest of y'all, run with what you want to run with. The boy said his aunt raised her hand and pointed it towards the window. Now, before I finish reading, so he's saying she heard noises, they heard noises. She went to her purse. She took the gun out. Wherever her purse was, she went to her purse. I don't know how long it took her to get to her purse. She went to her purse, took the gun out, then pointed it at the window. But in between pointing your gun at the window, she went to the purse, got the gun out, and she started walking around inside the house, looking outside the windows to see if she sees anybody. So it jumped straight from. I ain't finished reading this yet, so I'm gonna finish reading and maybe my questions will have answers. So it went from I saw her get the purse, get the gun out, then it jumped to straight immediately to her being at the window. Cause she in between her going to the window with the gun in her hand. Like what was going on? Cause he just jumped straight to, she pointed the gun at the window. If you see somebody outside your house and you point the gun at the window, I mean, according to law, they have to be inside your house for you to shoot. According to law, they have to be causing you harm, or you think they're about to cause you harm, but they have to be over the threshold of your house. So I think this is a script, but let's continue reading this script of what the new information is for today on this subject. Okay. The boy said his aunt raised her handgun. So got the handgun out the purse. She went walking around the house, inside the house. Didn't go outside, was inside. Raised her handgun towards the window when she saw the shadows of these guys, or saw these guys. Because if she can tell it was the police, I don't think she would have raised her gun. And 2 at night in the dark, I don't think she knew it was the police. She was shot. She pointed it at the window and was shot and fell to the ground. Reiterating that shooting was inexcusable, Chorus said today. The gun was found just inside the room, but they never showed us a gun was found inside the room. They showed us a picture of a gun. Yesterday's report never said anything about, of course, you didn't have the arrest warrant. But they never showed no picture of the gun being next to her body or inside the room. So, I mean, as they go, they're releasing their script. They released a little bit of detail. I'm wondering why was they talking about the gun when in first reports they said nothing about a gun being pointed. In first reports, officers came around side of her house and shot once they saw somebody in the window. That's first reports. Anyway, retreating that shooting was inexcusable. Reiterating that shooting was excusable. The gun was just found inside the room, but it makes sense that she would have a gun if she felt that she was being threatened, which she does make sense, or that there was somewhere in the backyard, which does make sense. But what don't make sense is pointing your gun at the window. What don't make sense? What don't make sense is you just going to, people usually go outside with their gun to see what's going on. Usually. I guess some people check around the windows too and look outside. But you're not instantly pointing your gun at them. Which is why this story, don't make sense with the questions I have and many have. And there's one guy who did a good video. He had a bunch of questions that he just took his video down. But he was asking why this. Like on the body cam, the time doesn't say 2 a.m. It says 7 something in the afternoon. So why did the body cam say 7 p.m., 7 something in the afternoon and not 2 in the morning? Stuff like that he was asking. Let's get back. or somewhere in the backyard. Texas Council doctor-in-law. And we'll go back to the doctor-in-law. That was something brought up in the Amber Geiger script. You go back to Amber Geiger, that was brought up. She couldn't use the doctor-in-law. Wasn't her situation. Wasn't hers. You know, she wasn't in her own place. She was in somebody else's place when she shot somebody. It is similar to many stand your ground laws and gives residents a strong legal defense to use deadly force to protect their homes if they perceive a threat. And she could only see his reflection in the mirror. Well, he said, put your hands up, show me your hands, but he never identified themselves. They never knocked on the door 100 times all loud like they usually do. So in this script, I guess police don't knock on the door all loud and announce themselves like they usually do. Okay, let's get into the video. Y'all go read the rest. We're going to play a couple of minutes because I ain't got time for Willie D wanting to copyright shit. So, excuse my language. I ain't got time for Willie D wanting to copyright anything. Like,
What's up, family? A murder warrant for Fort Worth police officer Aaron Dean, who fatally shot Atatiana Jefferson in her own home, says that after Atatiana heard noises, she went to her kitchen window and aimed a gun at the police officer. So,
you see that side eye look he did? It doesn't make sense to him either. That part still don't make sense. They go to your kitchen window and aim a gun. Like, the script don't make sense. Of course, that's on purpose, but it don't make sense, people. They go to your window and just aim a gun.
she was in her own home. She could aim a gun anywhere she wanted to aim a gun in her own home. She heard noises. Isn't that logical? You hear noises, you pick up a weapon to defend yourself if you're in your own home. You pick up a weapon to defend yourself.
And that is logical.
Guns are for. It is to level the playing field when the big bad bullies try to overtake you, when they try to prey on the weak. So you pull your gun and you let them know what time it is. Why she didn't squeeze the trigger, I don't know. Perhaps she had no intention because she didn't think that somebody would aim a gun through her window and shoot her. Okay.
Makes sense to think she didn't think anybody would aim a gun through her window and shoot her. Makes sense. Still possible, but still don't make no sense to me.
She had a gun. So what? It's her right to have a gun. The castle doctrine should definitely come into play here. You have a right to defend your home and your property and your...
Okay, then we're going into the defense part of Aaron Dean's case. So Aaron Dean is going to say, basically, I'm an officer. I saw her point a gun, so I feared for my life and shot. This is where I felt threatened part comes in from yesterday. People was talking about, he said he felt threatened because he claims to have saw her point a gun, and so he shot. But again, the shots was like 1 second. You were still talking when you shot. And you're going to shot one time. Again, script don't make sense. Only shot one time. You was the only one who saw a gun, cause there was other people out there with you, or right next to you. But I guess you had the best view in the house since you was up front. Yeah, I guess you had the best view of the house since you was up front.
Person, the people in your home. You have that right. She didn't know who the hell was creeping around her house. Okay, she had the door open. Why didn't they ring the bell? Why didn't they knock on the door? Why? So this dude, Aaron Dean, why? He resigned before he was fired from the police department for basically breaking a number of police procedure policies. So
Which he did break a lot of policies. And I got a video going over those policies. I gotta find that video. So that's Willie D live. We'll check out Willie D. But the defense in this case seems like they're going to be pointing towards her having a gun and him shooting. So he's going to try to use her having a gun as to why he shot. So we'll see what else comes out of this whole shenanigan. But again, reports are she pointed the gun. The nephew, in his statement, says she went to her purse, got the gun, started walking around the house. He didn't say she started walking around the house. He just said she got the gun, went to the window and pointed. So she had to walk around the house. Anyway, they're saying she pointed the gun. That's why he fired the gun. And that's the news right now. That's the update in the Atatiana Jefferson case. And we'll be back with another live, maybe in the hour. But this is Awkward Occurrence with Awkward Entertainment. And we'll see you in the next video.